Last year, one of my colleagues, a doctor just like me, 58 years old, had a massive heart attack. Size. He survived, but just barely. And when I visited him in the hospital, he looked at me and said something I will never forget. He said, "James, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I just never did it." That hit me hard because I realized knowing is not enough. Most people watching this video already know they should eat better, sleep more, exercise regularly, manage their stress. Pause. But knowing and doing are two completely different things. I am Dr. James. I am 60 years old. I take 0 medications. My heart is strong. My joints do not hurt. My mind is sharp. And I wake up every single morning with energy, excited. Today I am going to show you, step by step, hour by hour, the exact daily routine that keeps me this way. Not theory, not research papers, my actual life. And before I go any further, if you are watching this on Prime Age Wellness and you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right now. Every week I share simple, science-backed health information specifically for people over 55. You do not want to miss it. Slow Smile builds. If you are over 55 and you want the next 20 years to be your strongest years, this video is for you. Let's begin. Warm, calm, conversational, like talking to a patient you genuinely care about. Before I walk you through my routine, I need to tell you something that most doctors will not say out loud. The tiredness you feel, the joint pain, the brain fog, the poor sleep, the low energy, the weight that keeps creeping up no matter what you try. Most people believe these things are just aging, that this is simply what it feels like to get older. I believe that too, once. When I was in my late 40s, I was exhausted all the time. I was gaining weight. My knees ached. I would see patients all day and come home and collapse on the couch. And I told myself, this is just what 50 feels like. But I was wrong. Text on screen, tiredness, pain, brain fog. These are not inevitable. They are fixable. Here is the truth that 30 years of practicing medicine has taught me. The human body after 60 does not fall apart because of age. It falls apart because of accumulated habits, small daily choices repeated for years that slowly drain the body of its strength, its flexibility, its energy. And the beautiful thing about habits is this: they can be changed at any age. I have watched 68-year-old patients transform their energy levels completely in 90 days, not with medication, not with surgery, with routine. I have watched people come off blood pressure medication because they started walking every morning. I have watched people reverse pre-diabetes with simple changes to how and when they eat. I have watched people who had not slept properly in a decade start sleeping like a baby because they fixed 1 or 2 small things before bed. The body wants to heal. It wants to be strong. You just have to give it the right conditions. Look at camera directly. And that is exactly what I'm going to show you today, my full day. From the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. Everything I eat, everything I do, every habit, every ritual, and most importantly, the why behind each one. Because when you understand why something works, you are far more likely to actually do it. By the way, after you watch this video, I want you to leave a comment below and tell me which habit surprises you the most. I read every single comment on this channel. Everyone. Settle back comfortably. Let us start from the very beginning. Bright, energetic tone, like you genuinely love your mornings. I wake up at 6:15 every morning without an alarm, and I want to be clear, that is not natural talent. That is the result of a consistent sleep schedule that I have maintained for years. My body knows when to wake up because I go to bed at the same time every night. More on that later. The very first thing I do, before my phone, before the news, before anything, is reach for the glass of water on my nightstand. I drink the entire glass, slowly. Text on screen, step 1, drink a full glass of water immediately upon waking. Here is why this matters. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body is mildly dehydrated. Your blood is slightly thicker. Your kidneys have been working all night. Giving your body water first thing jumpstarts every system: digestion, circulation, brain function. It takes 10 seconds and it makes a measurable difference in how you feel within the first hour of your day. I do not touch my phone for the first 30 minutes of being awake. Not email, not news, not social media, nothing. Text on screen, step 2, no phone for the first 30 minutes. I know that sounds small, but this is one of the most important habits I practice. The first thoughts of your morning set the emotional tone for your entire day. If the first thing you consume is bad news, arguments, and other people's problems, your nervous system starts the day in a mild state of stress. That stress hormone, cortisol, stays elevated. It affects your mood, your appetite, your focus, and even your heart rate. I protect my mornings. They belong to me. Instead of my phone, I spend those first 30 minutes doing 3 things. First, I do 10 minutes of gentle stretching, not aggressive exercise, just slow, deliberate stretching of the major muscle groups: neck, shoulders, back, hips, hamstrings. After 60, flexibility is everything. Stiff joints are not just uncomfortable, they restrict movement, affect posture, and increase the risk of falls and injury. Text on screen, step 3, 10 minutes of gentle morning stretching. Second, I spend 10 minutes sitting quietly with a cup of green tea. No distractions, just the tea, the quiet, and my thoughts. Some people call this meditation, I just call it thinking time. This is where I decide what kind of day I want to have, what I am grateful for, what matters most today. Text on screen, step 4, green tea and 10 minutes of quiet thinking. And third, I write 3 sentences in a small notebook, just 3. What I am grateful for today, 1 thing I want to accomplish, and 1 thing I want to let go of. Text on screen, step 5, 3-sentence morning journal. Research on gratitude. Journaling shows it measurably reduces cortisol, improves sleep quality, and increases feelings of well-being over time. It takes 3 minutes. It costs nothing. And in 30 years of medical practice, I have yet to find a medication that does what consistent gratitude practice does for mental health. After my quiet time, I go for my morning walk, 30 minutes, every single day, rain or shine. Text on screen, step 6, 30-minute morning walk every day, no exceptions. Not jogging, not power walking. A steady, comfortable walk, ideally outside, in natural light, because morning sunlight within the first hour of waking regulates your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that controls sleep, energy, and dozens of hormones. It is one of the single most powerful things you can do for your long-term health, and it costs absolutely nothing. I come home from my walk feeling alive, ready, clear-headed, and then I eat breakfast. Conversational, like sharing a recipe with a good friend. Let me tell you what I eat, and more importantly, let me tell you why I eat it. Breakfast for me is always protein first. I eat 2 or 3 eggs, scrambled or boiled, with a handful of spinach or other leafy greens. Sometimes I add half an avocado, and I always have a cup of green tea alongside it. Text on screen, Dr. James breakfast, eggs, plus leafy greens, plus avocado, plus green tea. Why protein first? Because after the age of 55, the body begins to lose muscle mass at an accelerated rate. This is called sarcopenia, and it is one of the biggest contributors to weakness, poor balance, and loss of independence as we age. Eating adequate protein in the morning signals the body to maintain and build muscle rather than break it down. I also do not eat breakfast immediately upon waking. I wait until I have been awake for about 60 to 90 minutes. This gives my digestive system time to fully wake up, and it extends the overnight fast slightly, which has proven benefits for blood sugar regulation and cellular repair. Text on screen. Wait 60-90 minutes after waking before eating. Lunch is my largest meal of the day, and this is deliberate. Most Americans eat their biggest meal at dinner, but your body's insulin sensitivity, its ability to process food efficiently, is highest in the middle of the day and lowest in the evening. Eating a large meal late at night when your metabolism is winding down is one of the most common and most damaging habits I see in my patients over 60. I flip the equation. Big lunch, light dinner. Text on screen. Biggest meal, chucks lunch. Lightest meal, chucks dinner. Lunch is typically a piece of fish, salmon, tuna, or mackerel, with a large serving of vegetables and a small portion of whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. This meal gives me omega-3 fatty acids for my heart and brain, fiber for my gut, and complex carbohydrates for sustained afternoon energy. Mid-afternoon, if I am hungry, I have a small snack, a handful of walnuts or a piece of fruit, nothing processed, nothing from a packet. Dinner is light and early. I try to finish eating by 6:30 or 7 p.m. at the latest. This gives my digestive system a full 11 to 12 hours to rest before breakfast the next morning. During that overnight window, the body does its deepest repair work, clearing cellular debris, regulating hormones, consolidating memory. You cannot do that repair work efficiently if you are still digesting a heavy meal. Text on screen. Finish eating by 7 p.m. Give your body 11-12 hours to repair. Dinner is usually a simple soup, a salad, or steamed vegetables with a small amount of lean protein. What do I drink throughout the day? Water, mostly water. I aim for at least 8 glasses, green tea in the morning and sometimes early afternoon, and occasionally a small glass of red wine with dinner. Just 1 glass. What I do not drink, sugary drinks, sodas, energy drinks, or excessive coffee. Look at camera. I am not perfect. Some days I eat something I should not. Some weekends I have a meal that does not follow any of these rules. And that is completely fine, because health is not about perfection. It is about consistency over time. Enthusiastic but realistic. Not like a fitness trainer, like a doctor who exercises. Now let us talk about exercise. And I promise you, what I am about to describe is far more manageable than you are probably expecting. I do not spend 2 hours in a gym. I do not lift heavy weights. I do not run. My exercise routine is built around one principle that I wish every doctor would tell their patients over 60. The goal is not performance. The goal is function. Text on screen. Goal after 60. Function, not performance. I want to be able to carry my groceries at 80. I want to get up from a chair without using my hands at 85. I want to walk up a flight of stairs at 90 without losing my breath. I want to live independently, pain-free, and with full mobility for as long as possible. That is what my exercise routine is designed for. Here is what a typical week looks like for me. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do 30 minutes of resistance training, not heavy weights. I use resistance bands, light dumbbells, and my own body weight. Exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups against a wall, rows, and shoulder presses. Text on screen, 3x per week, 30 mind resistance training with bands and light weights. Why resistance training specifically? Because after 60, the number one threat to your independence is muscle loss. And the only way to slow or reverse muscle loss is to give your muscles a reason to stay. Resistance training does exactly that. It also strengthens bones, improves balance, boosts metabolism, and has been shown to significantly reduce the risk of falls, which, as any doctor will tell you, is one of the leading causes of serious injury and death in people over 65. Tuesday and Thursday, I do 20 to 30 minutes of what I call slow cardio, a gentle bike ride, a swim, or a longer walk. Nothing that leaves me gasping, just steady, comfortable movement that elevates my heart rate slightly and keeps my cardiovascular system healthy. Text on screen 2x per week, 20-30 min gentle cardio, walking, cycling, or swimming. Saturday, I do yoga or stretching for 30 to 40 minutes. Flexibility work, balance work. This is the session I look forward to most. It leaves me feeling loose, calm, and completely restored. After 60, flexibility and balance training are not optional extras. They are essential. They are what keep you from falling. They are what keep your spine healthy. They are what allow you to move freely and without pain. Text on screen. 1x per week. 30-40 min yoga or flexibility and balance work. Sunday is rest, complete rest. A long walk if the weather is beautiful. Otherwise, nothing structured. Rest is not laziness. Rest is when the body actually repairs and grows stronger from the work you did during the week. Text on screen. Sunday, sakshar, full rest. Rest is where the body repairs. Total weekly exercise time, roughly 3 to 3.5 hours, spread across 6 days. That is less than 35 minutes per day on average. Most people tell me they do not have time to exercise, but most people spend more than 35 minutes a day scrolling on their phone. Small knowing smile. It is not a time problem, it is a priority problem. If you are finding this video helpful, and I hope you are, please share it with a friend or family member over 55 who needs to hear this. You could genuinely be doing them a favor that changes their life. Thoughtful, slightly slower pace, intellectual and personal. Physical health is only half the picture. The other half, the half that most people neglect completely, is brain health. I am a doctor. My mind is my most important tool, and I have watched, up close, what cognitive decline looks like. I have held the hands of patients with dementia. I have had those conversations with families, and I made a very deliberate decision that I was going to do everything in my power to protect my brain. Here is what I do. First, I never stop learning. Every single week, I read something that challenges my thinking. A book, a research paper, a long article, not for professional reasons, just for the pleasure of learning something new, and the mental effort of learning something unfamiliar, something outside your comfort zone, is one of the most powerful exercises you can give your brain. Text on screen, read something challenging every week, new topics, new ideas. Second, I have meaningful conversations every day, not small talk. Real conversations with real depth about ideas, about life, about what matters. Meaningful social interaction is one of the strongest predictors of cognitive health in later life. The brain is a social organ. It needs genuine human connection to stay sharp. Text on screen, daily meaningful conversation, brain exercise. Third, I limit mindless screen time. Television is fine in moderation, but sitting passively consuming content for hours every day is the mental equivalent of sitting on the couch all day physically. The brain, like the body, needs to be challenged, not just entertained. Text on screen, less passive screen time, more active mental engagement. Fourth, I do something creative every week. For me, it is cooking a new recipe or writing. something that requires me to make decisions, solve small problems, and produce something. Creativity keeps the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making, problem-solving part of your brain, strong and active. And fifth, I manage my stress deliberately, consistently, every day, because chronic stress is one of the most destructive forces on the aging brain. Cortisol, the stress hormone, damages neurons over time. It shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory. This is not theory. This is established neuroscience. My stress management tools are simple. My morning quiet time, my evening walk, talking to people I love, and knowing when to say no. Look at camera gently. Your brain is not fixed. It is not a machine that slowly breaks down with age. It is living tissue that responds to how you treat it. Give it challenge, give it connection, give it rest, and it will serve you well for a very long time. Calm, slower pace, almost soothing, like the end of a peaceful day. Now let us talk about the part of the routine that most people completely underestimate. Sleep. I am going to say something that I say to every single patient who comes to me complaining of fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, or mood problems. Before we talk about diet or exercise, I ask them one question: how are you sleeping? Because in almost every case, fixing the sleep fixes everything else. Text on screen: fix the sleep first. Everything else follows. After 60, sleep changes. You may find it harder to fall asleep. You may wake up more often during the night. You may wake up earlier than you want to. These are real changes, but they are manageable with the right habits. Here is my evening routine. I stop eating by 7 p.m. A full active digestive system at bedtime disrupts the body's ability to enter deep restorative sleep. At around 8 p.m., I begin what I call my wind-down hour. The television goes off, the phone goes down in another room. The lights in my home dim. I switch to warm, low lighting. Text on screen: wind-down hour, 8 p.m. Dim lights, no screens, no phone. Why does this matter? Because bright light, especially the blue light from screens, suppresses melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. If you are watching a bright screen at 10 p.m. and wondering why you cannot fall asleep at 10:30, that is why. During my wind-down hour, I read a physical book. I have a brief conversation with my wife about our day. I do 5 minutes of deep breathing, and I reflect quietly on what went well that day. I am in bed by 9:30, asleep by 10, every night, 7 days a week. Text on screen: consistent bedtime, 10 p.m. every night, no exceptions. Consistency is everything with sleep. Going to bed at wildly different times on different nights is one of the most common and most damaging sleep mistakes I see. Your body's sleep system runs on a clock. Disrupt the clock and the quality of sleep falls apart completely. I sleep for 7 to 7.5 hours and wake up naturally without an alarm, feeling rested. That is not luck, that is a system, and you can build the same system. Sit forward, direct, warm, slightly emotional, heart to heart. So let me bring everything together. I am 60 years old, and I feel better than I have felt in my entire adult life. Not because I am lucky, not because I have access to special treatments, but because I have been consistent every single day with a small set of habits that work with my body instead of against it. Text on screen: show full routine list as Dr. James reads each one. Every morning, I wake up and drink water. I protect my first 30 minutes from screens. I stretch for 10 minutes. I sit quietly with my green tea. I write 3 sentences in my journal. I walk for 30 minutes. I eat protein in the morning, my biggest meal at lunch, and a light dinner finished by 7 p.m. I drink mostly water throughout the day. I take 0 medications. 3 days a week, I do resistance training to protect my muscles. 2 days I do gentle cardio to protect my heart. One day I stretch and do balance work to protect my joints and prevent falls. Every day I read something new, have a meaningful conversation, and do something creative to keep my mind sharp. Every evening I dim the lights, put the phone down, wind down gently, and sleep 7 to 7.5 hours at a consistent time. Pause, quiet, sincere tone. That is it. That is the whole system. I am not asking you to do everything at once. Pick one habit from everything I shared today, just one, and do it every single day for 2 weeks, then add another. Because here is what I know after 30 years as a doctor and 60 years as a human being. You have far more control over how you age than you have ever been told. Your energy, your strength, your sharpness, your mood, these are not fixed. They respond to what you do every day, every meal, every walk, every night of good sleep. It all adds up, slowly but powerfully, and it is never too late to start. I have seen patients begin these habits at 70 and transform their lives completely within months. Look directly into camera, speak slowly and sincerely. If you are watching this right now, and you have been feeling tired, achy, foggy, or just older than you want to feel, I want you to hear this from a doctor who means it. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. Your body is still capable of remarkable things. It is waiting for you to give it a chance. This is Prime Age Wellness, where we believe your best years are not behind you. They are still ahead. Smile warmly, lean back slightly. If this video helped you today, please subscribe to Prime Age Wellness right now. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. Every week we cover simple, practical health habits designed specifically for people over 55. And leave a comment below. I want to know, which one habit from today's video are you going to start first? Write it in the comments. Make it real. Make it a commitment. And I will personally reply to as many of you as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Share this video with someone you love who needs to hear it today. You might be doing them the biggest favor of their life. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next video.